So before I get into this episode, can we just talk about that fantastic end card for this episode? Like, holy crap. I might use that as a thumbnail. That's just how great that end card is. Like, just take a moment to appreciate the way it looks. You see Tanya in the front, like, you know, a drill sergeant, like she's in her world, and you see the Konosuba cast next to her to the right, and then you see to the left, you see the ReZero crew, and then right up top, you see Ainz and Kokutis right above, and it's such a fantastic image, because I'm just like, yo, I never thought that someone like Subaru and Emilia would rock that type of outfit so good. And seeing someone like Aqua and Cosma also rock the outfit is pretty amazing too, especially seeing Megumin as well. I'm just like, yo, that's a good freaking ending card. Props to the artist of that ending card. That's fantastic. Really, the more and more I see these ending cards, like these serious ending cards, like the first ending card for, you know, the first episode, and then this ending card and all that, the more I really do want to see a serious series on Isekai Quartet. I know I've already said it, but I really hope that there is some form of anime god out there. I do hope that this series does so good that it garners attention to where they actually want to make a serious part of this. Like, they want to make a true story that's fantastic and gets real with all four of these characters, because there's so much potential. There's so much potential with a crossover like this, because you could easily have Ainz as like a bad guy with Tanya, and having Cosma and the ReZero crew and all that working together. It could lead to so many good things, and I feel like if this series does well, that is a possible future. And so, yeah, that's just my main, you know, impression of that ending card. It just, like, it makes me really want something like that. Like, or just seeing all these characters working together against a common goal, a common enemy to take down. Now, that would be awesome as well. But okay, one last thing I do want to mention, though, of the ending card is I like how Kyokutis, he has miniguns, like Gatling guns, on his back. He kind of looks like Blastoise. If you know Squirtle's, you know, evolution, he looks like that. He really does. I don't know if it's just me, but that's my impression I got when I saw that ending card. But let's get into this episode. So, I want to talk about the Rosewall scene. Rosewall had a very, I guess, interesting scene with Beatrice. Beatrice confronts him as like, those drawings were definitely not random. There's no way those drawings were random. And the reason why Beatrice obviously says this, because when you look at it, Beatrice was put into a library. And when you think about all the characters interacting together, it just seems too perfect. And that's basically what Beatrice was trying to say. And Rosewall, obviously being Rosewall, he's someone that doesn't reveal everything. He keeps everything behind closed doors. He keeps it to himself. And the way he acts is just very shady. And being someone that kind of knows future events of the story, and it's very apparent that they might be kind of implying certain things with some of these stories for future events that's not even animated yet, it makes me assume things. And I wonder, with the way that scene went, I wonder if it's implied that maybe Subaru is potentially dying to make the results like they were. And hear me out on this. Subaru hasn't really had a very active role in this series, Isekai Quartet. He's had a few scenes, but overall, he hasn't really had a major role, which is kind of shocking, honestly. It's not because I favor ReZero over the other three series, even though I do like ReZero. I like all four series in their own way. It's just, you would think something like ReZero would have a little bit more screen time. And the reason why I say that is because it's an upcoming Season 2 very soon. And so you'd think it would have a little bit more to showcase than the others. Because Overlord, we're probably not going to get another season for a very long time, or maybe never. Tanya, it is getting movies, but we don't know if it's actually going to get a Season 2. Konosuba, we're probably going to get a continuation eventually, but it's still not announced. So what I'm trying to say, though, is, at the very least, ReZero, you'd think it would get a little bit more attention. And seeing that scene where, you know, Rosewall wasn't revealing everything, it's obvious he's hiding stuff, it makes me assume that maybe Subaru is actually using Return by Death to change events within the series. So, like I said, hear me out. what if there is something really crazy going on behind the scenes, like characters are dying left and right, and Subaru is taking it upon himself to actually save everybody, and he made it to where all the results of the selection of who was where was purposeful, that Subaru set up personally. He personally set it up like that. That's a possibility. And if that is true, then it would make sense why we're not seeing it either. Because, once again, this isn't a story just focusing on Subaru, and it would have more impact if we don't know what Subaru really is doing, because it leaves us like how majority of the world feels when they interact with Subaru. When you think about his story, when we're watching ReZero or reading it, Subaru is, as an individual, we know what he goes through, what he has to do, but the people around him have no idea what he goes through. And I think that would leave for a much better impact if we find out later on in this series, maybe the final episode or final episodes, that Subaru has been returning by death just to be able to fix certain situations where people don't die left and right. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on here, is that maybe that is happening, and that's why Subaru felt so accomplished. He's like, yeah, I did something and all that. Maybe that's the reason. Could be wrong, but it would be pretty cool if we kind of find out that is definitely the reason, because there is a lot of things that could go wrong with these cast of characters being together, especially Ainz' group. We know how Ainz' group can really be. Which, by the way, speaking of which, I never knew how much I needed Tanya and Demi on, in a group together, working on disciplining people. I did not think how much I needed that. It's very similar to how Albedo and also seeing Rim's connection, it's very similar to that. Demi, we know how Demi is. If you have watched the anime or read the light novels, then you know. Demi is someone he is not a good man by any means. He is probably the most sadistic man in that entire room. I mean, you like to talk a lot about Tanya, or you like to talk about what, Ram does to Subaru. It is nothing in comparison to what Demi has done. Demi is truly a heinous individual. His whole sheep thing is scary. So, I'm just seeing Tanya, which is technically pretty much the worst person there besides Demi, on discipline with him, is scary. Because the amount of problems that can arrive, like the discipline they're going to do on individuals, I can't begin to imagine. I can definitely see them making a nod towards sheep and parchment. Because, if you know anything, Demi is someone that literally harvests people to make into magical parchment. And obviously Ainz and them have no idea, but yeah, Demi's doing this. And I feel like one of the punishments that they're wanting to use comedy to affect, Demi might say, if you keep this up, I will turn you into sheep or parchment. I could definitely see that being done, which would be really cool if they add that little darker tone to it. And Tanya might join in because she is, as an individual, she's a little bit messed up too. So I can definitely see all those events leading together, and I just wonder if they're willing to go that far. Now, another thing, too, seeing Cocytus and Darkness, it's some of the, Tanya's squad a part of, the gym section is pretty cool, because I kind of feel bad for, Cocytus, because he's getting a little bit disturbed by Darkness and how she is. She's like, oh, you got 4 arms, come at me, and I'm like, Darkness, chill out. And Darkness is so great. I love her personality. She always just has so much life to her character, and just seeing that scene, it's just shocking to see someone like Cocytus just getting so disturbed and weirded out by someone, because he's like, what am I supposed to do here? She's acting like this. And so, feel bad for the man. He's definitely gonna have a rough time ahead. Which, by the way, Megumin, she's the intercom announcer. So every morning when school starts, she'll be the one talking on the intercom. Somehow that fits so perfectly, because Megumin is a loud individual, and I can definitely see her fitting that role of, I am now Megumin, I will give you the daily dose of explosion. I can already see it. I can definitely see, that happening. So, that's gonna be fun. And also, Amelia being the actual, the captain, or the class rep of, the classroom is pretty, I guess it connects perfectly with her character, because she is someone that is in a leadership type role, and she's definitely someone that, because of her personality, could definitely make the group work together. So I think that is definitely something that fits perfectly. Even seeing Ainz and Albedo as the vice reps, That's also very important, and I love Albedo in this episode as well, when she gets all happy. As soon as she's with Aang, she's like, yes, and all that, and she just like, oh my god. Albedo has been such a blast for this series. Her emotional reactions to anything that Ainz does is honestly better than the actual main series. But okay, I think that's pretty much about it. It's a good episode, obviously, and a lot of good comedy, a lot of setup, and there is some things here and there that is making me believe that there is something serious going on that might be revealed as the story progresses, but we'll have to see. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, and with that, Chibi out.